Dude, I'm tired. Christmas. I'm tired of Christmas. I've been shopping all week. I've been shopping for these kids all week.
Mm.
I've been playing Santa Claus all week for these children. All December, not just all week, all December. I'm basically Santa Claus for these children.
Santa Claus, afraid not. Just a poor schmo who got lucky and sue me if I want to get something back.
Noice.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Chris Ryan, and I'm here with my partner, Mick Jamison, and we are two former video store employees who worked together back in the day, and we're here now to talk about all the movies we love watching at work when we should have been working.
That is right. And this time we are here, Chris, to talk about the holiday classic. No, it's not Die Hard. It's Batman Returns. Yes, the holiday classic that was released in June, but is a Christmas movie. I think,
Absolutely.
anyway. I think it's a Christmas movie.
It's a totally Christmas movie.
Yes, it is. It is
Yeah.
definitely a Christmas movie. Just
Yeah.
if Die Hard could be a Christmas movie, then a Batman movie can be a Christmas movie, and this is a Christmas movie. And
I
an
mean, it
awesome
had, it had snow, it had Christmas trees, it had expensive baubles. It all-
It had Christopher Walken in a majestic white wig.
Yes.
That hair, oh, it's awesome.
Ah,
But
Max Shrek.
it's funny that you're saying that because that shot of the Batmobile driving through the snow, mwah, chef's kiss. I don't know why, it's an awesome shot. Batmobile in snow, great.
You
Just
mean
great.
when he's like going full blast through the city when he's supposed to be taking down criminals, but maybe hitting innocent bystanders as well?
Yeah, I mean,
That is
listen. This Batman has no time for the intricacies of civilian safety. He sees crime and he decides that justice must be served, no matter who or what is in the way.
Listen, this Batman has a body count because so many deaths happen at his hands. Like when we first see him in the suit, breaking up the red triangle or something like that.
Red
that
Triangle Gang.
Yeah, that mercenary group that Cobblepot's got. So,
and, dude, and he's like grinning while he's killing. He doesn't care. This Batman, he's not feeling bad. He's not going home in the Batcave and like afterwards and like talking to Alfred about it and saying and lamenting about it. He's grinning while he's taking down bad guys. He is enjoying his work. He's finding joy in vigilantism.
He's having the time. He's having the time. Like, when he straps that bomb to the guy from over the top.
That's exactly what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, and just like kicks him down in the sewer, and then it just unless the explosion just disfigured him.
Yes.
Killer Croc down there now.
As I told my child when I first watched this, that's a story. So, okay, I mean, we're going to get into it with everything, but this was about, I'd probably say like 3-4 years ago. So my son was maybe 7, and this was on, I don't know, it was on one of the cable channels around this time. So I'm watching it, and it's Batman, and he's big into Batman because I brainwashed him into being a nerd just like me. So I said, we're going to watch. He hadn't watched Batman Returns yet, so we're watching it, and, we're going through the movie, and my wife is in the background wrapping gifts. And, she usually doesn't pay attention to whatever I'm watching because she doesn't care. But even she is kind of looking at it and she's like, do you think he should be watching this movie? It might have been like when after the Penguin made like his 5th or 6th, sexual joke toward Catwoman, or I don't know, maybe when, after Batman just murdered somebody. But yeah, even my wife is like, should a 7-year-old be watching this movie? Which I think the WB executives were asking in the summer of 1992 after it came out, which led us to Joel Schumacher and everything else. But we can get into that later too.
It was Batman Returns' fault that happened. Damn it.
But yeah, I mean, so let's get into it. So Batman Returns. And we were kind of talking about this off the air beforehand. So Batman 89. Batman 89, I mean, obviously cultural touchstone, like at the time, the 5th biggest movie of all time. Yeah. Huge. Started, I mean, I was going to say started off the comic book boom. Not really. Not the comic book boom like we know it now. But I mean.
Right. But without that.
But without that, you
We
wouldn't
wouldn't
have
have
seen
gotten Roger Corman's Fantastic Four.
That's right. And the world wouldn't be the place that it is now if we hadn't gotten Roger Corman's Fantastic Four. But so after Batman 89, everybody expected, yeah, there's going to be a sequel because it was huge. I can remember, and again, there's a lot of times we bring up on this podcast back in the day before the internet, before the cesspool that is the internet. You got your news either off of like Entertainment Tonight, or you sometimes saw and I think this was like a supermarket tabloid that was talking about, oh, who's going to play. It's probably going to be Catwoman in the sequel. So who's going to play Catwoman? And they were saying like, oh, it's going to be Madonna. It's going to be Cher is going to play Catwoman. And then when it got closer, and I think I think when they announced it, it was going to be the Penguin and Catwoman. They were saying maybe Cher, maybe Madonna, maybe Sean Young was up for it, who was up for Vicky. She was cast as Vicky Vale in
that's
the
the
original
role that drove her crazy, right?
Yes, she went into WB and went into Tim Burton's office dressed in like a Catwoman outfit. He was hiding under a desk somewhere because he didn't want to see her.
Yeah.
I think she told the story on like Letterman. Yeah, it kind of like drove her nuts. But she was cast as Vicky Vale in the first movie, and then broke her leg in a horse riding scene during the movie.
Ooh.
And Kim Basinger was going out with one of the producers, I think with John Peters, that wackadoo. So he got her cast in it, probably after he pulled his face out of the Scarface mound of coke, and then cast his then girlfriend, cast his then girlfriend as Vicky Vale. She did a good job.
Yeah.
But even with the Penguin, I can remember when they announced that it was going to be the Penguin, and before I kind of feel like everybody thought Danny DeVito, because I mean, and I like Danny DeVito in the role, but no offense, it was like he's short, he's going to play the Penguin. But I remember they talked about like Dustin Hoffman. They were thinking about. I even think they might have Robin Williams. I know is up for the Joker. They always thought about him for the Riddler. They might have even brought him up for the Penguin. Huh?
Robin Williams would have been perfection as the Riddler.
He would have been. He would have been great if they would have done like the Michael Keaton Batman Forever or whatever.
Oh yeah,
would have been. Yeah. He would have been great. I think he would have been a better Riddler than Joker, because I know they brought him up for Joker. I see him more with a Riddler type of mentality, or like a comic book Riddler mentality, not a Paul Dano serial killer Riddler.
No. If not the Jim Carrey thing, because that was on some other.
And Jim Carrey, I mean, he was so big then, so
yeah.
But yeah, it's Batman Forever. But so Dustin Hoffman, but like Danny DeVito wasn't a surprise. But I mean, that was like everybody was, because that was the big thing after Batman. It was like, okay, and it was kind of this movie, and I'll talk about it while we're talking about it. I mean, even the first Batman, they said, oh, it erased like the campiness of the 60s Batman TV show, which it did a little bit, but it still had a little bit, it had a different type of campiness as you watch it now, especially after the hyper realistic, like Nolan and Matt Reeves. But I mean, there's still a campiness to it. It's just a different type of campiness. But that was the big
90s campiness that we didn't
we didn't get it, because it's like, oh, it's dark.
In the comics at that point, like, like Frank Miller destroyed all the campiness,
And I know Burton said when you watch 89 and this one, you could tell he took a lot from Batman Returns, took a lot from The Killing Joke, which, all that kind of stuff for that time was, I think was a reaction to, because I mean, in 88, 89, I mean, again, talking as like comic book nerds, I mean, that's still what when people thought of Batman, that's what they automatically thought of before that 89 movie. You still thought of Adam West. I mean, every article and stuff started with like Bam and Zap, because that was the shorthand for talking about comic book movies and for Batman movies.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get into that. So like by 92, like where were you reading Batman comics monthly, or I mean?
So I forget if it was late 92 or 93. What deep got me into comics was the death of Superman. Mm-hmm. So that was my like, I had comics here and there, like, from my childhood leading up to that point, but it was like one or two here and there, like Ninja Turtles. I just grabbed one. I just grabbed like some random one from this record shop that was like Record Revolution, that was in King of Prussia at the time, or some random Transformers comics or Star Wars comics, of course, and
Mm.
you know, other little things. But it wasn't until my senior year in high school, which was 92, 93. And one of the kids on the football team was like, "Yo, you hear they're killing Superman?" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, the book comes out this Friday." I'm like, I'll go next Friday and pick it up because I didn't know any better. You know, I went there like the following Friday. They were like, I pretty much got laughed out of the store. They didn't have any.
Sure.
But so yeah, that was the thing that got me into the comics and the for Superman and all that stuff. But around that same time, Nightfall, Night Quest,
Mm-hmm.
you know, all that was happening with
Yep.
Bane and then Azrael and then the return of Bruce Wayne. So yeah, I was all into that. So I don't know if returns happened around that time or if it was before that. Or it was sort of around the same time.
It was around the same time. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's funny because I can remember in the fall of '88 when they had the call-in vote for if they were going to kill Robin,
Yeah, that was
Jason
cool as
Todd,
hell. Yeah.
and I remember hearing it on KYW, like getting ready for freshman year of high school, and it's like, oh, Robin's going to die, and it's funny now because again, like with everything, like where you're watching a movie trailer now on YouTube, like a year and a half before something's coming out, or just like a teaser for the teaser of a movie.
Yeah.
Like I remember like kind of knowing that a Batman movie was coming out, but like it was kind of like just in the background. And then even kind of knowing that like Michael Keaton had been cast. And I mean, again, they always talk about like the letter writing. Everybody went nuts. I mean, you could imagine like how 20 million times worse it would be now. I mean, we've seen it with casting and like even with Heath Ledger in 2008. You can imagine now if it was like Michael Keaton getting cast, they'd be I think the internet literally would have blown up. I think it would have blown up. You would just open up your laptop and it would blow up.
Yeah.
But
back then it was like the back of comic books and magazines were blowing up, you know, where people, you know, just hate wrote into places. And, you know, we were all just like, Mr. Mom?
Yep.
Really? Johnny Dangerously? Okay.
The guy from Gung Ho?
Yeah.
But I mean, so like obviously like Batman proved them wrong. And with Returns, I remember like, so I was came out in the summer of 92. So I graduated in 92. So I was like hype for this movie. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait for this movie to come out. You knew who was getting cast. And then I saw it and like we kind of talked about beforehand, and I'll say it now. I didn't know how to feel. I feel like every time I watch this movie, I go from it's amazing to I don't know what Burton was thinking of when he did it. I'm always entertained by it. And I'm always entertained by I researching it, I read that, you know, they said when they wrote the screenplay, obviously when after 89 was such a big hit, Burton was saying he wasn't going to come back and WB wanted him back. And he said to them, I'll come back, but I need like creative control. And you could tell like this is a Tim Burton movie. This is, I mean, I've heard it said, people say it's a Tim Burton movie, kind of like co-starring Batman, which I don't know. After this time watching it, I don't feel like he's not. I know a lot of people say, "Well, I watch it and Batman's really not in it that much." I feel like he's in it enough. I mean, have they seen the Dark Knight Rises? I mean,
right. But when I watched it again, I watched it last night. You know, my first time in well over 10 years or so, watching it again. And I was like, wow, yeah, there's not a lot of Bruce in this thing, you know. I mean, yeah, they're setting up Penguin, they're setting up Catwoman and a man Muhammad Shrek. So
you want to go 10 rounds with Muhammad Shrek?
Yeah, like and that's like here's some of my bat notes on this one. This was a really weird movie. Like it was a weird movie.
That's an understatement.
It was like I got the premise, but there were some things like when Batman came in to save people after that gang came in the beginning, and you know, all that whole ruse to get Max Shrek in front of Penguin, you know. The amount of villains and whatnot that there were in there that you know, these gang members that were causing all this terror. Batman beat up two or three people. He beat up. No, I take it back. 4 or 5, maybe. Out of the 4 or 5 people that were, you know, the 20 to 30 that were there causing havoc on that soundstage,
Well,
Um,
when you say beat up, do you mean actually beat up, or like there's ones that he set on fire?
yeah.
There's
I'm
other
using
ones
the
that
broad
he hit
term
with
of
his car.
yeah, yeah. I'm using
No,
broad
I
terms
don't.
when it comes to vehicular homicide and arson and exploding a man.
That guy who he set on fire could have been okay. It was snowy out. He could have rolled around in
He
this. He
could
could
have
have
rolled
just
in
stopped,
snow.
dropped,
Yeah,
and
he's fine.
rolled. He's
Maybe
fine.
Batman
I
made
mean, it's like third degree burns, but he's okay.
yeah,
He's
he'll
fine.
be fine. But and then like Commissioner Gordon comes like all of a sudden
Okay.
after Max Shrek gets captured, all of a sudden everything's all right. The city's quiet, the town's quiet, and he's like, "Batman, thanks for saving the day again." Batman's like, "I only beat up like 3 people, man."
I
And
gotta
then they all
say,
disappeared. Like
I
but
gotta.
thanks for the credit.
So that whole scene, like what you're saying. So basically, it starts. There's havoc in the city.
Yeah.
Commissioner Gordon, who at least in the first one, I could kind of take him seriously. Pat Hingle. But in this second one, so it starts with like one of the gang throwing like a sled at the police car, hits the window. What's he do? Does he get out and try to apprehend him? No, leans over, grabs the microphone, and says, "What are you waiting for? The signal?" Because God forbid, like the Gotham City Police Department would do anything to help. So they put the bat signal up, and it's a great scene. It's an awesome looking scene. But again, and this is where I go back to, I hate being there. That's not how it would be in the comics. So the bat signal goes up, lights up into Wayne Manor, where Bruce Wayne's just sitting there feeling sorry for himself. There should be a "oh, my parents are dead" thought balloon over his head.
Right.
Why is he sitting there? Why are you not out in the city patrolling, Batman? So he's just sitting there. Now, what happens if Wayne Enterprises is having a fundraiser and they decide to put the bat signal up and everybody's in there dancing around, and the bat signal, you're going to get a drink and the bat signal shines in your eyes, you're blinded. And how is Bruce Wayne explaining why the bat signal is shining into his thing? Awesome looking scene. As you know, the bat signal goes up, he looks at it, stands up, then stares at it for 5 seconds like he doesn't know what it is. It's like, you're Batman, dude. It's the bat signal. They need you.
Yeah.
Finally gets there, takes care of the thugs. I mean, he kills a couple, but what are you gonna do? And then and I will admit, again, it's still a pretty cool scene where the mayor and the police commissioner walk as Batman's walking, and they're just like, "Thanks for saving the day. Their circus gang's back," and he's like, "We'll see," and that's it, and just walks away. But yeah, I mean, this is where it comes, and this is where it starts with this movie, and I I hate being like that because I go nuts on these people when I see them, and I always say, like, especially with like Marvel movies, where I was always more of a DC guy, so I can watch like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie and enjoy it, because before I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, I knew there was a character named Star-Lord. I didn't know anything about Star-Lord, so I'm like, no, I enjoy this. Now, Batman, grew up with Batman. I mean, we were just talking about comics. By 92, I had started, I think a comic book store had finally opened up around my neighborhood. So I was going regularly and buying comics, and I was always like a Batman guy from when I was a kid. And by that time, it was like Jim Aparo, Norm Brayfogle were on the book. So that was my Batman. So I was one of those ones when Keaton was cast, I was like, eh. But then when you see 89, and especially Returns, I'm a bit, I like how he looks in that suit, and the suit from Returns. That is one thing. And I knew it was going to get into this with this movie. It was going to become an old man like me yelling at Cloud about the newer movies. I love the Nolan movies. I like the Reeves movie, but like, can we get back to like a Batman costume that looks like a Batman costume, that I don't have to have like that Batman costume, and especially in Returns, looks amazing, and he looks great in it.
Yeah.
The Batmobile, like I said, in the snow, that Batmobile, the 89 Batmobile, in my opinion, has not been beaten. Again, I don't care that it's probably impossible that you could actually drive that car, but it just looks cool.
Yeah. And let me tell you, I was like, whoa, yeah, this is 1992 when the shield thing came up around the Batmobile, and I was like, oh yeah, look at CG's infancy over here.
That's right. Hey, that and the Batarang scene with the CGI, that probably cost like $50 million right there. Now that's like something on the weekend. Some low-level intern is like, let me take care. Yeah, it's like, let me get my iPhone out and take care of this. We got to add this in post into the movie.
So let me ask you a question, because like I said, I watched it in the theater probably once, maybe probably once, maybe twice.
Mhm.
On cable, watched it a bunch of times.
Mhm.
This version of Selena Kyle,
Yep.
when she took that fall,
Can we talk about, and I'm interrupting you, but can we talk about, before we even talk about this version of it, can we talk about who pushes her out the window and why like this podcast exists and why we're doing this movie? Because that's one of the reasons why. Again, I think we
Wait.
watched this working together. Why does she? Who pushes her out? Who pushes her out the window?
Christopher Walken, okay,
As Max Shrek.
is Max Shrek. Look, that dialogue alone is like half of our relationship right there.
It is.
It's just like dialogue from that movie of his. Like everything was golden. Every bit of dialogue that he had in that movie was golden.
He is the underrated superstar of this movie. I swear to God. Like again watching this week, he's great in this role. He is great. He's totally Walken, but he is totally. He knows what he's doing. Like I know it's like the cliche. He knows the assignment, and he knocks it out of the park.
Absolutely.
He is amazing. And like you were just saying, watching it, researching this beforehand, when they were writing the script, they went more for character and set pieces than they did for plot. And how you were saying plot, which if you watch it, there is no plot. It starts off with him trying to build a power plant that gets abandoned pretty soon.
Power and all that stuff.
Yeah, this whole movie is a bunch of set pieces, and some of them are like pretty awesome set pieces. But like the performances, really good performances, and his might be number. Like he is amazing and eminently quotable from this movie.
Like they didn't go into his past really, but what he can get from it is he worked himself up from the bottom. Like from nothing and built his empire, and that's why he keeps calling Bruce like, oh, like you're dressed like a trust fund
to the manor born with a silver spoon.
All that.
I can't do the Walken as good as Chris does.
I like all that stuff. But if I can go back to Catwoman, because this is a question I've had since it's 2022. 30 years. I've had this question. So when she takes that fall, first of all, was there another take where he doesn't throw her out of a window and she gets shot in the head or something? Because she's got that one thing where all the damage should be around the back of her head, or maybe it was the glass or something like that.
Yeah.
But it looked like maybe she got shot in the head. Now, that's one
we have to think about the kids.
Yeah.
We can't show a massive head wound, so let's just show we're getting thrown out of a 10-story window and just have it in the front.
Let's think of the kids and the things that Penguin said about Catwoman to her face. But
flipper trick.
My slippers in one hand, a dry martini in the other. But she took that fall. Okay. No one should come back from that. No one.
Nope.
No one. Nope. And then them cats all come around. Just like all around there doing all that stuff. Then there's the one that's the one black cat. Miss Kitty that's standing on her chest and doing that whole cat's eye thing. I thought sucking the life out of her. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And then there's one cat like almost like gumming on her fingers and all that kind of stuff. So did she die and she came back via cat powers? Where all of a sudden she has did the cat revive her and give her martial arts skills? or did she survive that fall and then had a psychotic break?
Well,
or is she a zombie?
I always took it that the cats somehow revived her and gave her the 9 lives. Now, I mean, obviously, as you and I, comic book nerds, that's not Catwoman. Again, and as we're talking about, I watch this and I watch it now, and I'm like, well, I still feel I still feel this way with comic book movies when they change things that don't need to be changed. I'm like, why? You didn't need to this whole convoluted. You didn't need to do this. Right. I don't. And listen, I own cats, and I was watching that scene. I'm like, listen, this is gross. I don't want the cats
do. They don't
nibbling on my. I mean, I have thought about maybe falling off my roof and seeing if my cats run out and start jumping on top of me and stuff. Maybe I'll get 9 lives. I don't know. I mean, or I die. Who knows what'll happen? But yeah, I think she was brought back isn't that what they explained in the classic 2004 Catwoman film with Halle Berry? Didn't she didn't she get her powers the same way when she fought supervillain Sharon Stone?
Oh boy.
No, but
Oh boy.
yeah, I think she was somehow dead, and somehow it was a Christmas miracle. The cats brought her back.
Christmas miracle.
And you
If
know
the
what?
Christmas miracle of those cats gave enough of a shit, you'd be like,
seriously,
oh, let me see what's going on over here. Let me care about something else besides
Listen,
myself.
those cats thought they were going to get something from her,
Yeah.
so they were doing it for a
Where's
reason.
the milk lady?
But again, no matter what, like origin wise or whatever, Michelle Pfeiffer, iconic, like
Yes.
great Catwoman,
Killed it.
great Catwoman,
Killed it.
and I mean it's helped by her in that outfit, which is great also. But
You know, like the one, like I said, there's things happen so easily. And you know, I'm like, I get it. Like that's just how storytelling was back then, where there
Mhm.
weren't like, you know, like if Selena Kyle has to get from here to Catwoman,
yeah,
in you know, in movies back in the day, it was one thing, boom, Catwoman. Nowadays, it's got to be
yeah.
Catwoman. Like there has to be so much, then the movie has to be 3 hours long, or they give it a series.
Well,
You know,
also,
that's just everyone needs everything connected. It can't just be
yeah.
boom to boom. Like I was talking to my roommate about weird signs the other day. Like how and we should do this probably one of these days. But explain to me how a Commodore, you know, some IBM, you know, with dot matrix is going to make a person, you know, because there were red clouds across the sky and lightning struck or something. Nuclear missiles coming out of the garage.
It was the 1980s. Computers could do anything back then.
And that was the only answer I got.
Exactly. But again,
it's acceptable back then.
This was 1991. So again, when the executive producer was done with the big Scarface pile of coke, then the screenwriters got into it and were like, how are we gonna make Catwoman know like martial arts and stuff? And they were like, you know, taking their face out of it, and they were like, cats, that's fine. Yeah, cats lick her, and now she knows how to do martial arts, and she can use a whip. And they're like, brilliant.
and you know, and then she just lost it. She lives in an apartment complex, right? Like apartment building. So she loses it and is crashing stuff. Now one neighbor was like, hey, Selena, you okay?
You right?
You actually destroyed everything. And the ability to go from crashing all that stuff to making a suit for whatever reason, because
I think the cats gave her martial arts powers, and they also gave her amazing sewing powers, because she got that one jacket and like made a whole Catwoman outfit out of it. And hey, that is amazing. Again, cats. I mean, underrated. They look like they're not giving a shit, but I mean, they, you know, they help you out. They bring you back from the dead. They give you martial arts powers, and they make you a master sewer. I mean,
yeah, they gave her the idea to make a cat suit,
and you know,
it'll be awesome. You know,
she also had the cool. She had the cool "Hello there" sign with the hell here after it. I love that.
Yeah, she's like, let me just take out this and this tea. I know what I'm doing.
How do movies do it now, by the way, without answering machines? Because you get to hear her answering machine with the stupid boyfriend, which I think is Tim Burton's voice. They said it's his voice talking, and her mom. But like now, it stinks. Like kids will never know. They don't get the. You don't get the. I mean, I guess you could just make them put their phones on, like whoever,
Speaker.
what psychopath would ever listen to their voicemails with on, not on, you know, not listening to it up to their ear. But yeah, I mean, you miss that old trope of listening to the answering machine. But I mean, she's awesome. She's another one. Like she is amazing. Like I can't see anybody else talking about like I can't see like Madonna, terrible actress. You know, she wouldn't have been able to pull it off. Cher, I don't see it. And we've had like good Catwomans, like Zoe Kravitz, good Catwoman.
Yes.
Why can't I think of the Princess Diaries girl's name who played her in Batman or Dark Knight Rises? You know, I can't think of her name, but she was good too.
Yeah,
and she was a very like comic book accurate Catwoman. But I mean,
I was like, Jewel Thief. I'm like, thank you, finally.
Yeah,
right.
Michelle and Zoe Kravitz very comic book accurate, but Michelle Pfeiffer, I mean, again, like this movie is just crazy. It's
Yeah.
nuts, but like parts of it work, parts of it don't, but parts of it work. And it's not like you said. When I'm watching this, I'm not coming for the plot. I'm not coming for any kind of coherency. I'm coming for the set pieces, for the performances. The art direction is awesome, even though it looks like it looks like a backlot. There's like 4 streets in Gotham, and over the two Burton movies, there
narrow streets.
Over the 2 movies, the Burton movies, there's like you get to see like 5 streets of this major metropolitan city. But even so, like, and now the Penguin. So we got to get to the Penguin.
Yeah.
It's weird because we're doing this with the last year with the Batman coming out. I mean, I like that they used to. It's kind of hard. I mean, I can see like in '92, it had to be hard for Burton. I mean, the Penguin, even in '92, you were still thinking of like the Burgess Meredith Penguin. In the comics, he was kind of like a crime boss, but he was still like, you knew him as the villain who uses the umbrellas. So if you're going to use him in a movie and you're trying to make it serious, even though watching it's still pretty campy, they went the total Tim Burton way. So the black goos, and now he's got the penguin flippers. He was, Pee Wee Herman's dropping him in the sewer in the beginning to be raised by penguins.
Yeah.
But again, I might not agree.
He's got flippers.
Do you think like he did that in one of the takes, and they were like, "All right, Paul, stop." He was over with the executive producers and the writers.
Sorry, Tim.
No matter how much like I disagree with the look of the characterization, I like Danny DeVito's performance. I mean, people still remember it. I mean, that's the thing with this movie. Like, people still remember DeVito. They still remember Michelle Pfeiffer. So it had a lasting effect on people. And I like what he's doing. Like, he could have played it totally like, like his character from like Taxi or something like that. But he would have been awesome. It would have been kind of cool. He's talked about it too. I think, didn't he write like a Penguin one shot last year? Yeah. So I mean, he liked it, like doing it, and he's giving it his all. So I mean, he's got good chemistry with Michelle Pfeiffer. He goes up well against Keaton, and him and Walken are great together. Him and Walken are great together.
Yeah. You flush it, I flaunt it.
I love that. A lot of tape and a lot of patience.
Yeah. There's a whole case of his crud in the
back. And again, I don't know why they had to go with the whole. I realized he was down in the sewer for like. He was supposed to be 33 in this movie, by the way. Yeah. That was a tough 30 down in the sewer. That's a tough 33 years.
Yeah, there's like no son of, but that's one thing they said, that he was also raised in a circus and then like murdered a bunch of children.
Yeah,
and then he was on the run. I tell you, when you said before about there not being a plot, or not being being a more of a thin plot. What I did like, and the stuff that I didn't notice when I was watching when I was a kid, because I'm not, keen to certain things, was that the mayor and the guy who's super rich are at odds, and the guy that's super rich has a whole bunch of stroke in the city.
Thank God we never see that stuff in real life now.
No. Grifter with those cards. And then
buy the whole set.
I want to do that. But and then he's finding a way to get this guy out of office so he can plant his person in there.
Yeah.
And plots his scheme, with Penguin.
The Reichstag fire. Let's make a mayor.
And I love it. I like that. I was like, okay, this does have some depth. Okay.
Yep.
Like, yeah. They're doing that whole thing. But I was like, the people of Gotham are just as stupid as the people from Metropolis. Because hey, Mick, guess what? Chris is no longer here.
Oh my! Where'd Chris go?
Oh yeah, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? I'm back.
Where'd you go? Yeah, the people in the DC universe aren't the swiftest.
Yeah, they're not the brightest. But
I thought you were going to say something else, by the way, when you said the people of, and you're talking about the mayor and all that kind of stuff. I thought you were going to really get really real and say the people of Gotham City are not as smart as the people of today. With
No, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. You know, but there are similarities. But when Shrek and Penguin, you know, hatched their plot to get the public on Penguin's side, and then he has his random, you know, henchman come out of nowhere, grab the baby. No one shot this fool. No one tried to tackle him. They just let it happen. He'd do a circus flip.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
you know,
they're
over
shooting,
everything.
they're
and
shooting
down
at Batman later. They just jump up and start blasting. But this guy who's jumping out of nowhere, they're like, no.
Yeah.
Maybe they're mesmerized by his acrobatic skills.
Could be. But then, like, you know, he goes down, you know, to the sewer, and all you hear is, "Oh no, it's the Penguin Man! Here, take the baby. Oh, I'm sorry." And then he lifts, lifted up out of the. I'm like, this looks so orchestrated. How did no one like? Yo, what is this shit?
Hey,
yo, like, who rigged this?
When you're living in a city that just tried to have a 200th anniversary, and you had a guy who looked like he was in clown makeup, try to poison you. You got like red triangle gangs running around.
Yeah,
you kind of become numb to this stuff after a while.
You might be right.
Who knows what happened between the first and the second movie? I'm sure there's adventures that we haven't even heard about. What happened to Harvey Dent? I don't see Harvey Dent in this movie.
What you need to do.
But by the way, he was supposed to be in this movie. I did read Batman 89.
You did.
We have to get into that too, because Marlon Wayans was supposed to be in this movie as Robin.
Yeah,
he still gets paid for it. He signed a 2-picture deal, and when they stopped it, he signed a pay or play deal. So he didn't play, but he gets paid.
Nice.
There was action figures made.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow.
He was going to be a mechanic who helped after the Batmobile was. Which again, we got to get into that. So, where do they get the schematics for the Batmobile? Which again, people when they saw these two movies, they were like, "Well, thank goodness, because Batman is not campy anymore." But then they have the amnesia and forget that the Penguin is on a mini Batmobile, driving it as he takes control. Which is, listen, it's a cool scene. I'm not taking anything.
He swiped a Kmart, like the front of a Kmart where they had the thing for kids.
That's right. That's how I know prized it. I was like, it was in front of a Kmart in Gotham City, and he took it and he rigged it. But how did they get the schematics for the Batmobile? Where was Alfred? I know Alfred brought Vicky Vale to the Batcave in the first one. Was he like does he go to like somewhere in Gotham and get drunk at like some bar, watch soccer? And like they know to like, and he just like is throwing around like Batman secrets.
Yeah, like, you guys are going to believe this.
And he's got like the schematics for the Batmobile. Yeah, I'd see more of the Michael Caine Alfred doing that than Michael Goff, but again, cool scene. But
Batman,
again, it's like
you won't believe this. I'm telling you, it's true. Batman's butler. Here's the keys to the Batmobile. You can have them.
It's like you said, though. It's a cool scene. They got to get from A to B, so they're like, okay, they had the schematics for the Batmobile, and they're going to take it over.
Yeah, they got him somehow, like Palpatine returning in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
somehow
they got him on the. They were probably on the internet. Like in '92, the internet was out there somehow. It was on the LARP. It was on the LARPanet or whatever it was called.
Yeah. Oh wow.
There was people talking about Return of the Jedi and Batmobile schematics. That was all that was on the internet back then.
That's it. That's it. One thing. Also, as far as like some more layers to this film, was all the dualities. Like every character had, Batman had, of course, Batman and Bruce had, the duality. Selena had her, her duality.
Split right down the middle.
Yeah. Who else? Who else had their?
Well, Shrek and the Penguin, like you're saying, like and Shrek and Bruce and the Penguin too, because it's again both of them were supposed to be rich, and he said, I mean, that's actually a cool line that I did always like when the Penguin at the end says to Batman, he's like, "You're just jealous because I'm a real freak and you have to wear a mask," and he says, "I think you're right." I think that's cool. I always like that. But we're talking about like the duality. We're talking about all the people. We're not even talking about Keaton as Batman. So where do you stand now that we're old? We've been around. We've lived so long that we've seen Keaton and Kilmer and Clooney and Bale and Affleck and now Pattinson. Like, where do you stand on Keaton as Bruce Wayne Batman?
2.
Second? You mean second favorite? Behind? You can tell me.
I'm gonna catch a lot of shit for this, but
What?
Ben Affleck is one of my favorite actors of all time.
Why would you catch shit for that? He's a great Batman. I mean,
you know how people are with the
I know.
Snyder,
I was kind of being sarcastic. I know. Yeah, I don't know where I put him because I love Bale and I love Affleck and I love Keaton. Like those three, like I know it's like a cop out, but I can switch. Like watching Batman Returns, I was like, damn, I think he's a better Batman than he is. I think he's a good Bruce. I still, even
Keaton?
after all Keaton, even after all these years, I'm a little bit where I'm like, and I know it's the annoying, comic book nerd in me where I'm like, he's not exactly how I see Bruce Wayne. And like Affleck right from like the animated series, as like Bruce Wayne, and even like Bale. Bale is just like a good looking, like that's how you always imagine. And like I know what they were going for with Keaton, but there's still that part of me where I'm like, I know he's playing it because that's what they wanted, and Burton was going for that. He's a weirdo and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But as Batman, I think he's great. I like the characterization as Batman. I mean, I was reading it where he had a lot more dialogue in this movie, and he said he didn't want to do it because he's like, Batman shouldn't have that much dialogue. He should be kind of quiet. But like I bought in the suit. It's hard, man. Like in that suit, like sometimes when they're sitting there talking, I think he has the best Batman voice because he doesn't go, I like Bale, but sometimes he can go overboard, obviously.
He just showed you. The people just showed you.
It's like, dude, what was it? Try a Ricola. Like, come on, man. Yeah, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
Like Keaton, I like what he's doing, where he's just lowering it to that whisper. Like I do remember like seeing 89 in this, and I was like, that's how I would imagine like Batman would talk. And I like what they did with Affleck too, with the voice modulator. I always thought that was a cool idea. But even in this one, I think he's actually better in this than in 89 because I think he's more comfortable with what he's got to do. I actually buy him more as Bruce Wayne in this movie than I do in 89. That was another thing with like the 89 where I know what they were going for with we don't know who Bruce Wayne. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's the time we're living in. Also, it's like you couldn't not know who somebody was. Like it's like, who's Bruce Wayne? We don't have any pictures of him. Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
I like him in this one where he kind of shows like that you can buy him as the Bruce Wayne who would have like the Wayne Foundation, where it shows him going up against Max Schreck. So yeah, I mean, I don't know where I play. He's like 1A, and so is Bale, and so is Affleck, because he's just really good as Batman. He makes that suit work. Like it's just like that. It is still the 89 in this suit and forever are the coolest like Batman suits because they're more like comic book suits.
Yeah,
which is what and that's like a whole other episode or whatever. Which I want him to get back to. Like, go get back to the comic. Like, let him look like a comic book character.
I would love for there to be hope, maybe with what
I know
Peter Gunn
yep.
and that other dude
and Safran are doing. Yep.
Yeah, and we could have a Batman that is blue, gray, black, yellow. Please make it happen with whatever updated suit you want to do. Please give me that color scheme. We've had the all black and gray, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Or at least if you're gonna do the black and gray, throw some yellow in there.
Exactly. Just give him a yellow oval and give him a yellow utility belt, for God's sake.
Yep.
It's comic book. I don't care if a guy wouldn't wear it. A guy wouldn't go out dressed as a bat either. Like, get over yourselves. It's comic book.
Come on. Let's do it.
But yeah, so I mean, like the performances, top notch. I think they're great in this movie.
Even Chip.
It's funny because I put on Facebook like that I was watching this, and I found like a cool poster online and put it on there, and somebody was talking to me about it, and he brought up something, and I noticed it too, and I'd seen this like earlier, but like when I first saw the movie, I saw that guy and I was like, man, he is a terrible actor, and I didn't realize until recently he's doing like a Walken impression.
Yeah.
He's
No,
trying to
Dad,
sound.
save yourself.
No, Dad, save. Time to bring joy to the masses. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
me. It was like me trying to do Walken, but he's like trying to do like a Walken impression.
Yeah.
And now watching it this time, I'm like, this is hilarious. I
I mean, yeah,
love what he's doing. It's
like,
hilarious.
he's been in some terrible movies.
Yeah, I
But
was gonna say
he
he's
definitely
like
put his
a.
foot in it, like Street Street Fighter movie. All right,
Yeah,
he
I was gonna
played
say he's been
Zangief.
around.
Yeah. He was like, "Yo, let's go. Let's defeat the guys here. We do the thing, DJ. You and me. You know, like he's doing the voice and whatnot." Then there was that one football flick where he was like this roided up dude.
No, I can't say it. Not him. No.
I forgot the name of that movie, but Andrew Briniarski is his name.
Yeah.
And even back then, I was like, "This dude's huge. Why is he not Bane or Lobo?" And then he played Lobo in like some.
Did he?
Like not an official movie, but like some
Fair.
lower budget
Okay.
cult classic.
I gotta say it.
Thing
Yeah.
that they played only at conventions or something. But yeah,
Oh, dude, he's great.
I'd have brought him back as Bane and not whatever they did
Oh God,
in
with,
Batman.
was it Jeep Swenson? Dude, what? And again, see that, and that's where it like goes against, because you know what? The character looks like Bane. They made him look like Bane, but oh my God, he's driving around with a hat on, driving Poison Ivy from the airport. See, I can watch that now. Having kids, like when my son was like super young, I was like, I can't. Even though I just told the story about when he was watching this when he was 7, when he was like 4 or 5, I was like, he can't watch like Batman Returns. So we would watch Batman and Robin, and I could appreciate some of it on just the terrible. I mean, it's still a terrible movie, but like stuff like that, I was like, oh my God, this is so terrible. It's hilarious. You can't tell me that George Clooney wasn't like watching dailies and just being like, oh my God, like just like fanning himself with like the millions that he was making. Like, whoo, oh man, this movie stinks, but whoo,
boy,
okay. I'll be all right.
I'd say Terrible Batman, great Bruce Wayne.
Very good Bruce Wayne. I just wish he didn't have the Caesar cut that he has that late. I will hey, I'll give you, and I like that this has turned into like a discussion about all the movies. Great Bruce Wayne and great relationship with Alfred. Like that scene where he talks to Alfred when he's when they thinks he's dying. Awesome scene. It's a great scene. And I will even say, I like, even though it's a terrible joke, I like that they mentioned Superman in the movie, because I was like, oh my God, they're in a shared universe. And I like when Robin, when they come back and he says to Robin, he's like, nah, you have to like train, you have to do like a couple hours in like the simulator. I'm like, oh, that's right. Like the Batcave has like a cool like training simulation. Yeah, we're gonna see that in the giant penny and the dinosaur. No. No, you're not.
One other cool thing at that party, that swanky party, the Max Shrek's party.
Yeah, where they're playing Can't Touch Us. Yeah.
No, they're playing Super Freak.
I
was like, I want to live in a world where you go to a swanky upscale party and they're playing like some version of Super Freak. I'm like, all right, this is where I should be.
The masquerade ball
is that everyone is wearing masks. Everyone except for Bruce and Selena.
Yep. I mean,
because they are wearing their masks.
And I like that too. That's actually a cool. I like that when they do the. And is that like a real saying that mistletoe can be deadly if you eat it? And like, who the hell would eat mistletoe, for God's sakes? Like, I'm gonna eat this mistletoe. No, but a kiss could be even deadlier if you mean it. I like how they do that. And they look at each other.
Eating mistletoe. I'm sorry. I think that's deadly. I'm just saying.
Maybe it's from like the back when the plague was going on and people ate this. I don't know. But I like when they go back and you kind of see like the shadow goes over both their faces and it kind of looks like the mask on both of them. And she says like, oh my God, do we have to start fighting now? I think that's like that's very cool. There's like some things in this that are very like comic booky and like really like cool Batman moments. Like even like we're going back to the beginning, like the fight when we're joking about it, but I do like, it doesn't have to be. And listen, I love me some Batman jumping around and doing acrobatics. Just him like getting out of the Batmobile and just like grabbing somebody and punching them and like throwing them to the side. And then when the one clown grabs Michelle Pfeiffer and he's just standing there and the way they have it shot, where you just like kind of like see his eyes looking at him, shoots like the grapple gun right behind him, and then pulls it out and like hits him with it. I'm like, that's Batman. And then when she says, you know, like, or is it just Batman? He just looks at her and walks away. I'm like, I'm glad they didn't go with like him trying to do like a quip or something like that. It's like, it's cool. That's what Batman would do. He doesn't have to say anything, just walks away. That the part you just said with them,
Joss
like
Whedon
they're the only ones.
The bat quips. That was all.
Oh,
I'm bleeding somewhere. Oh.
Yes, no, stop. But like the thing you just said, like I like that with like they're the only two that aren't wearing the masks.
Yeah.
But they really are wearing the masks.
Yeah.
I mean, even like joking around, after he and Catwoman first fight, and he goes back to the Batcave and he's sitting there like pulling out like the her like nail that she like because she hit him with it. And he just like they could have done something stupid. I know he does like the meow, but he like underplays it. Like like I said, I would always go back and forth when I would see him as Bruce Wayne, but like him as Batman, I totally buy him as Batman. Even when he's walking into the bat closet with the bat suits on the bat hanger to go pick up. Now which one should
crime is happening? Crime is going down.
Meanwhile, the city's getting blown apart. And they're all. I think I'm gonna be doing this, maybe that one. They're all the same. Like, what is he thinking about? He didn't even have like a sonar suit like in Batman Forever. I won't. But I'll say the Panther suit from Batman Forever. That's the first suit. That's an awesome suit. That is a great suit.
Yeah,
I do like that opening scene of Batman Forever. Even though there's some corny parts of it, that first opening action scene of Batman Forever is cool. Just for like comic booky type of action. I love that.
Better than the opening scene from Batman and Robin with the.
But you don't like them You don't like them surfing?
The dinosaurs, ha!
Oh god.
The Ice Age.
Oh my god. You don't like them surfing out of the. No, I don't. But like with this movie, like why we're doing this is like you were saying, like with us working together, like we would always quote, and we like haven't even talked that much about him. Like it's a creation of the movie that's not a comic book character, but we would always quote Walken from this movie. And even now, like whenever I'm watching this, I'll usually take a picture, I'll rewind it, pause it, so I can have the words on the screen, so I can send you like a text message of him just saying Santa Claus, afraid not.
I'm like, what was the one I thought I may have sent it to you? I forgot if I sent it to you or not. Oh man, let me find this thing.
You got Muhammad Shrek.
Yeah.
You got I'm trying to when he introduces him when he's going to be the mayor. We did the Let's Make a Mayor. He's all the what's the name when he's like unlimited poontang.
And then there's this. Why you dressed up like Batman?
I've talked to you about that. I've talked to another friend about that. Why are you dressed up like Batman? And we haven't even talked about that when he goes to pull off the mask. That always annoyed me. I understand why they had to do it, where he's talking to Selena, like, and he's got the black eye makeup on, and then he goes to pull it off, and it's gone, and it's like, you couldn't have just like cut away at a different time. Like, come on, people.
He's like, rip. Excuse me.
Yeah. Hold on for a second.
We just figure that out.
And I know people loved it that they showed Pattinson with the eye black around his eyes, but I was kind of like, I don't know. Like, do you have to acknowledge that he's putting like eye black around his eyes? I still like if they do in this. They did it
in what is it? Like the Arrow show. Like
I know.
Oliver always wore that stuff. And
if they hopefully have like a new Batman in the DC universe for the movies, can we somehow get like a cool like mask that he could take off and it's just hanging like from the back? Like I just want to see one scene of like Batman taking it off, and he's got like that sounds weird. Batman taking the mask off, and he's just got like the mask hanging right down there. We got close with like Bale in Dark Knight Rises when he comes back from the first night out, coming back and he takes off like the mask and he's in like the full suit with just the mask off. But and even like Affleck that after he goes on his murder spree, he's blowing up. Wow, that I want to pit that Batman if they do like like a multiple Batman movie eventually, kind of like how they did the Spider-Man. They need to have like the Keaton and Affleck Batman in like a murder off, where they just have the Clooney, and they'll have like the Clooney Batman keeping score on the side with how many kills they have.
One for this one.
I like the. There you go. I love the head. Yeah, the head bob. And he accidentally takes out like Kilmer's eye with like the horn from the bat mask with his head bob.
Sorry about that. Can't help it.
But yeah, like Walken. Oh, dude, so good in this movie.
Yeah,
it's like funny because people bring up, they're like, "Oh, Christopher Walken. I wish they could get him for like a comic book movie." But like, he's been in a comic book movie, all right. He didn't play a superhero, but he played one of the greatest supervillains ever.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Dude, he was so good. Oh god, he's so good in this movie.
I'd forgotten how magnificent he was in this flick.
Oh, he is. He's great. He is so good. And I don't know if I didn't read anywhere like if they had anybody else in mind for this part. I can't see anybody else playing it.
I would have hoped he was like first.
Yeah,
I
can't see anybody else playing this part.
Like no audition, just be you. Just read these lines as you. Boom, go. You're good. You're golden, sir.
Like I want a prequel movie because he talks about when he says, women, nothing surprises me except for your late mother. I want a prequel movie just about Max Schreck and his wife and how he probably killed her, because he probably killed the wife. I want a prequel movie, or just like the rise of Max Schreck. I just
what if, and this is extreme, and I know this wouldn't be the case, but what if in this Flash movie, because they're bringing Michael Keaton into this Flash movie that I think is still happening, because their growing pains are happening at DC, and I'm very happy to see what they're going to. I'm very excited to see what they're going to come up with. What if we get old bats? What if Max Schreck is still around? Walken's still alive?
Did that, I will promise you, I'll go see it 10 times. I will go and I will dress up as Max Schreck for Halloween next year. I'll take my kids around trick-or-treating as Max Schreck.
And you're not taking candy. You're giving away expensive baubles.
No, I'm giving away expensive baubles.
Look, if they do that,
and also unconditional love.
Unconditional love. Wrapped in a big bowl.
In a big bow.
I hope we're in the same theater. Like if that ever happens, and you'll just hear me like rows behind you to go, and I just lose my shit.
If there was a camera on me, you would see me like this, and I would go. I would be like, James Gunn, the bastard did it. Better than Endgame. Oh, that would be great. They should bring him in as the big bad of like the DC universe for the next one. He's like the Thanos. It's like Darkseid. And he would come out. He would walk out of the shadows and go, Darkseid, afraid not.
What if? Ooh, another one. Like you ever watch Justice League Unlimited? Did you watch that masterpiece of a series?
It's the greatest cartoon series ever created,
yes.
And probably the greatest Batman ever put to media. I love that. I love him in Justice League Unlimited.
I'm still like, why don't you guys just use the JLU show as your storyboards for your entire DC universe?
That would make too much sense. I mean, why would they do that?
They don't want to give Dwayne McDuffie the credit.
Yeah, Dwayne McDuffie, Bruce Timm, like all those guys.
All of them.
Yep.
What if they could do something like the way they had Lex merged with Brainiac, and we get Brainy Shrek, Brainy Max, Maxniac. Well, like, dude, like it just.
Oh, dude. Why did
I have calculated that I would destroy Gotham and Superman in one go. 0100101 buzz. You know what I mean? Like
we're coming up with gold. We don't even need a mountain of cocaine like they needed back in like 1991. No, all we need is us two and our unlimited imagination.
That's all we need.
I'm telling
Sesame
you,
Street taught us so much about using our imagination.
I am going to DC tomorrow, and I'm going to say Brainy Shrek. I want to make it. Let's do it.
They're just like,
get me Jim Lee.
Yeah, they're like, give this man all the money, right?
I'll take you and I'll take a plotted and co-created by. You can get Jeff Johns to write it. I don't care.
Yeah,
Brainy Shrek.
Brainy Shrek. Boom. There you go.
Well, I do think, and I think when they were thinking about that Tim Burton, and I don't know where you stand on this. I say I'm dodged a bullet, but when they were talking about that Tim Burton Superman Lives, Nicolas Cage. I like Nicolas Cage. He's not Superman. You can name your kid after Kal-El. I don't care. You're not Superman.
Yeah, that
But
doesn't mean yeah.
when they were thinking about doing that, I think when they were talking about Lex Luthor, they were talking about Nicholson, which I love Nicholson, but I can't see him as Lex Luthor. I think they were talking about
Jack
Walken.
Nicholson?
Yeah, like Burton wanted Nicholson as Lex Luthor. I was like, nah, I don't say it. And I think he was talking about Walken also. I could actually,
Yes.
I could see Walken.
Bald-headed Lex, bald-headed.
Bald-headed Walken.
Oh, what do I do with myself? I don't know. Oh, that would be amazing.
Can you, in some alternate on Earth like 75X right now, there's a movie with like maybe it's Nicolas Cage as Superman, but you probably get Christopher Walken as Luthor. So it's
the
like
runaway comedy hit of the year. That's what that would be.
But like this is how, like, again, this is the connection. We would I'm assuming we probably watched Batman. That's probably how we started talking about it. But we would do like walking in the store watching the movie. We would probably just walk up to each other and go, Santa Claus, afraid not.
Just
there's so many great lines, and we're like, I'll remember like 5 other ones after we're done.
So
but
many. Like watching it, I was like, yeah.
Even that when he's like, take me instead of Chip.
Yeah. No, go, Dad, save yourself.
No, Dad, save yourself. You're lucky, you great white dope. So we're not even talking about we're bringing up the Penguin. So like with this movie, so it was released. And that was a good year in '92. Actually, it was like this.
Great year for music.
It was a good year for music.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. It was like this. I think Lethal Weapon. Yeah, maybe not. Lethal Weapon 3.
Which one was that? Is that the martial arts one?
That's the one with, I don't even know who the bad guy was. It's the one with the first one with Rene Russo.
Was that the Jet Li one?
No, it was 4. Jet Li one was with Chris Rock, yeah.
Okay.
But like, so this was released and they expected it. I mean, as always, it's not like now. I feel like now, you have the big movie and then it's like the next one always goes bigger because everybody wants to get in on it. Like, I feel like back in the 80s and 90s, he released the first one was always huge, and then the second one wouldn't be as big. So I mean, they released this one, and it was big, but it wasn't as big as Batman. I mean, Batman was humongous.
That was a cultural event, right?
Yeah. There. I mean, I don't think I had a bat signal shaved on my head, but I bought like the cheap the knockoff like different colored like Joker and Batman shirts they were selling everywhere.
Listen, I had friends in high school at that point, and I'm sorry, like one of my friends, Henry Camacho, he was like the hardest punk rock kid, right? And we were in line, and I forgot the name of the I forgot the name of the theater that we went to. Oh, I forgot the name of that theater.
Was it in King of Prussia?
It was right outside of King of Prussia. Yeah, I forgot the name of it. But so we're waiting. This is like
Catwoman, where it's like, when she's telling the story about the kid, and she's like, and he like whatever. They say he threw up. He's dead now.
We're waiting in line to get in the theater to go see Batman '89. I didn't even go with him. It's all random. It's all kids from high school and whatnot that were there. Yeah. And this is the hard ass punk rock kid, military kid. He's running down the aisle, jumping and clicking his heels as he goes. He was the first in line. He's like, so happy. That was such a cultural event.
I see nothing wrong with that.
I was just like,
it was.
Look at him go.
I saw '89 down the shore at the Shore Mall. That's where we would go down the shore to see movies with my mom and dad and my brother. I always remember it because beforehand, my mom bought candy outside and hid it in her purse and was like, she showed it. She was like, "Be quiet, don't tell anybody I'm bringing this." Like we were gonna, like she was bringing in like contraband. Like they're not gonna pat you down. Calm down. And I remember going and watching it. I remember my dad telling me after, he said, "You sat forward the whole movie and in your seat and watched it," because I was like, this was like this was like the biggest thing in my life that I was like, oh my God, there's like again, like these damn kids today, they don't know. They don't know what it's like. You gotta wait like your whole life to see Batman. You have like 5 different Batmans, and like you'll have 5 different Batmans in the next 20 years. And between then you'll probably have like a Booster Gold movie, and you know, Donald Glover's making a Hypno Hustler movie, for God's sakes. You could have been the
Wait,
Prowler.
is that what we're not getting the Lando series yet? Because he's doing...
Dude, I'm not even lying to you. He's making a Hypno Hustler movie for Sony. That's
I mean,
part of their that's part of their Spider-Man verse. Like, come on. I know. But so like with this one, like Warner Brothers was like, it's going to be huge. We'll get McDonald's in here. We got like, we're going to sell Happy Meal toys. And there were like one of the reasons why they decided to go with like Joel Schumacher, and they thought that this was like a failure, is because they were saying kids were like scared of the Penguin. There was too much like sexual innuendo going on. I remember
a couple too many. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like 12 too many. Probably.
Yeah. Anything with Danny DeVito and that Penguin makeup talking about the French flipper trick is one too many.
I mean, is that like just the I was talking about? Like, bro.
I mean, listen, I'm not gonna lie. I was, again, I was like 17, just graduating from high school, seeing Michelle Pfeiffer in that outfit with that whip. I was like, this is there. What? There's strange feelings awakening in me.
She made a man out of me.
But I know, like, if you watch like any kind of like, not making of, but when they do like retrospectives about this, they show like the Oprah clip. I think it's Oprah, or one of those like daytime talk shows where they're talking to like this stupid kid. He must have been like a narc in school too, because he's like, I went and saw Batman Returns, and I was so scared, and I don't understand like the Penguins like spitting out black goo, and like I don't understand. And it's like, all right, kid, like get out of here,
nerd.
And his name was Matt Gaetz. And his name was Ron DeSantis. So I think like McDonald's like cut like the Happy Meal. Like, I know we joked about it, but it's like they should have like the Happy.
You just had raw fish.
You should have got like a fish fillet with the Happy Meal. I mean, you really should have.
Let me tell you, that scene to this day makes me uncomfortable.
Oh, it makes me it's disgusting.
All right, I was like,
yeah, I was thinking while I was watching, I was like, so what did they like? Some actors are like, like Daniel Day-Lewis is like, I gotta be like, if he played Superman, he'd somehow find like a way to like rocket himself to like Krypton so he can learn about it and then rocket himself back so he could say like, I studied it. But it's like, was like DeVito like really eating like a raw fish, or did they? That's disgusting.
Yeah,
that is disgusting. That, and I am unsettled by the biting of the nose. Still, even though I know it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. Dude should have kept his mouth shut. I mean, he probably should have kept his mouth shut.
Yeah, although I do give him taste, because he did realize Jan Hooks, rest in peace, she was cute. I did have a crush on Jan Hooks. I was big in the Saturday Night Live then. I did think Jan Hooks was cute.
That was another innuendo. I was like, sir.
Oh man. I know, I'm watching it and I'm like, even then, like in 92, I'm not gonna lie, there was a lot that I missed. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Oof.
I mean, maybe we could do another episode about like not this Batman flick, but like there are movies that I watch nowadays and I'm like, oh, how did they get away with that? And I'm like, yeah, it's just a time. But like any what's that dude's name? John Hughes movie. John Hughes movie, like 16 Candles, bro. The rape culture, the racism,
I know, yeah.
The stereotypes, the rape culture and the rape culture,
and the rape culture.
And my man, like the school heartthrob, just like left his girl like drunk and whatever.
I mean, we talked about
thinking she was, I'm thinking she cheated or something like that to leave her so he can go get with, Molly Ringwald, who just turned 16. Like, something's not.
No, something's not right here. We talked about it. Look at Revenge of the Nerds. Like, you're supposed to root for those guys. Dude, he basically raped her at the end. And we're all like, haha, look at you. Like,
the nerds got over it. You can only
Yeah, now it's like a 48-year-old parent. I'm like, oh no. Oh, I had to go upstairs and take a shower. I'm like, ew. No.
Oh man.
No. And again,
12.
We could probably get like a whole episode out of this, but it's like there's differences too, because you can go, and this was like a big thing. It was actually this past week. I think I sent you like the link because people are trying to start stuff with like Blazing Saddles. There are differences between something like Revenge of the Nerds, where it's like, no, that's just disgusting. It's not like about that's just somebody who you like I said, he's raping her. I don't care if like you're a nerd and getting picked on. That's not cool. You can do Blazing Saddles, and yeah, you shouldn't be repeating the stuff that they say in it, but it's being said to make fun of other people and to bring to light that people are like that. It's not being, you're not making fun of a certain culture. It's not malicious. It's pointing out these people are, it's like nowadays, and again, oh man, how many like political things we bring up in this episode? When people sit there and talk about the Archie Bunker and even like the Jeffersons and like, oh, remember when we could say stuff and you didn't get offended? It's like, yeah, but what you don't get is, you're supposed to laugh at Archie because he's an idiot. Like it's not that like he was getting away with stuff. He's the idiot that you're laughing at.
Right.
And but anyway, back to Batman Returns.
No, but Blazing Saddles is gonna happen because I mean, the racism in that one was, not to get off on the off the rails, but fuck it.
Who cares?
When the one overseer guy was like, he's like, when y'all was slaves, y'all sang like birds. Why don't you give us a good old song? Like the Camptown Lady. Yeah. And then the brothers, like they tricked this dummy
exactly
and his crew into singing the song, and they're just like, look at these morons.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
The Camptown Lady.
I can't wait to show my son, like he wouldn't get it right now, but I can't wait to show him that movie just because like it's like that exactly. Like there's such a level, but even like as a kid, I'm not trying to make it like I was like so super intelligent, but even as a kid, like I realized this is what's going on. Yeah. And again, I know people say, and they're right in a way, it probably couldn't be made today, but at that time you could make it, and like thank God they did, because Richard Pryor wrote it with Mel Brooks, and and Richard Pryor's bringing his perspective into it, but Mel Brooks is bringing his too, because Mel Brooks always has that stuff with like his Jewish background too. I mean, that's why every one of his movies has something making fun of Hitler and stuff like that. Like now they both sides it. Well,
right. You can't like the one thing you can't do was his Native American.
No.
Who spoke Yiddish? No. Wait a minute. No. Starlight, top of all.
I think we got to do Blazing Saddles. We got to do Blazing Saddles one of these days.
Oh yeah. History of the World Part 1. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you think? Want to close up shop for the night, man?
Yeah, I want to go watch Batman Returns again now. In all honesty, no, I'm not lying. Like I watched it more times I think than you, because you said it had been like 10 years. Like again, like having the kid, I watched it with him. I'll watch it around Christmas time. It is a Christmas movie. I say it is a Christmas movie. In all honesty, I don't care if people don't think it is. If people think Die Hard is or isn't, I really don't care. I don't get involved in that
stuff. Look at his background. What do you see there?
I know. I love it's a Christmas movie.
Those lights. Look at that beautiful head of white hair from Max Shrek.
I am so jealous of that hair.
Amazing.
It's a goddamn Christmas movie. Yeah, but like I'll watch it and I'm like, again, like there's parts of it I can look and be like, well, this isn't exactly like the comic, or I can watch parts of it now and be like, well, this is a little campy, because back then we thought like, ooh, this is so dark. Oh, but it's a movie I like watching. Like great performances, no matter like the plot, whatever. It's a bunch of scenes, which is fine, but characters, great performances, great production value, great Batmobile, great. Christopher Walken, amazing. Immaculate. Hall of Fame. When they put him in the acting Hall of Fame,
I need him to be a statue of him as Max Shrek.
When he gets his honorary Oscar years from now, it should lead off with the Max Shrek speech. If I was like executive producing the Oscars, I'd be like, we're leading off with the they'd be like, what are you, Max Shrek? What? What about Deer Hunter? What about like Max Shrek? Yeah, Max Shrek.
How about
and it would just be you in the front row going,
yes.
Like if he ever won, an Oscar now, I want him to go up and say, "Best actor, afraid not." I'm just a slow.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine?
Like, he did Yes.
But yeah, you know what? I think I say it like every episode. Go watch this movie. If you haven't watched it in a long time, go watch it. If you're a comic book fan, go watch it. If you're a Christopher Walken fan, go watch it.
Yes.
Go watch it to get ready for Keaton, hopefully coming back in the Flash, even though
we'll see what whatever
every other cameo in that movie's been cut out.
Anything from the Zack Snyder stuff.
Yes, I mean, I know anything from the Zack Snyder verse has been cut out. I know he's like a main character, so I would assume if the movie's getting released, we'll see.
Yeah.
But to get ready for, did you hear that they were supposed to make a Batman, like a Batman Beyond type movie, and it was going to be Keaton and Michelle Pfeiffer? Supposedly that got canceled. Now I don't know if it's totally true, but they said like they were talking about doing like a Batman Beyond type movie, and it was going to like recently, and it was going to be him, and they were going to bring back Pfeiffer as Catwoman.
Okay.
So
like you're gonna have like Huntress as their daughter or
something like that. I mean, it wasn't going to be an exact adaptation, but yeah, the main thing was going to be Keaton and Pfeiffer were going to come back.
Do it.
But with the whole thing getting wiped out,
whatever I don't know if she's done with whatever they're doing with the Marvel stuff. You know. Well, I mean, she's Van Dyne, right?
Yeah, she's Janet Van. She's the original Wasp.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm excited for what they do with. I'm excited to see what James Gunn does. I mean, hopefully before like my 80th birthday, I get to see like a Batman that is kind of like a comic book Batman. Yeah. I know. I'm a complaining nerd.
No. I really hope that that we get the gray, blue, and yellow.
So do I,
and
man.
Black. I hope.
So do I. Please.
Yeah.
And like, how did they not bring Max Schreck into the comics? By the way, like now you would think they would have brought him into like back then. Maybe they didn't do it as much. You would have thought they would. Maybe it would have been a good character.
Now's the time.
Seriously,
they can do it. I'll talk to.
I still like
them. I'll make sure that they give Greg Capullo and Snyder and them. Yeah, I'll talk to them. I
still like Brainy Shrek.
Huh?
I still like Brainy Shrek.
Brainy Shrek. Yes. Yeah.
That was great.
I found the perfect human specimen to fuse with. It'd be fantastic.
So yeah, I mean, this was our holiday special, our first holiday special. Yeah. I think this was a good holiday movie to start with because this is an awesome holiday movie. Yeah. And for the new year, what are we gonna do for the new year?
We've got a movie that I remember. I traveled up and down the roads of King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. Uphill both ways daily to go to Valley Forge Video and rent this movie from 1986. It was a masterpiece, an animated masterpiece, a theatrical flop, but that's all right. Transformers the movie, the greatest Transformers movie ever made, the best, because they haven't done it any better.
Yeah, they've never made any other they've never. I don't know what you're talking about. They've never made any other Transformer movies.
I'm just going to agree with that.
And you know, my son has never seen this one, so I think when I rewatch it, I might have to. And he's not like a big Transformers guy. Okay. That's kind of something that he's missed, but I might have to like sit with him and watch it and see what he thinks about it.
You know what you should do?
What's that?
Do like film you guys, like do a little reaction, like watching watching.
I might.
Yeah.
You gotta watch with his language though. He's got a salty mouth.
Well, I mean, no, I think there are edited versions of it out there.
I'm talking about him. I'm talking about my son. Oh yeah, don't they curse? That was like a big.
Yeah. Two curses. There's oh shit and there's damn it.
That's right. Ooh, oh man.
You say that because I
can't believe my parents let me watch it. Meanwhile, we're watching Revenge of the Nerds, and the guys are raping a chick, raping a girl in the back, and they're like, "Ah, it's fine. It's a comedy."
Remember that one scene where Optimus Prime and and
well,
RC were doing.
I mean, you know, what's the name? Hot Rod does fuck over Optimus Prime in a way.
Trust me. Listen, 40 minutes of that episode is going to be dedicated to the betrayal. But I'm not going to get into it now.
No,
I'm in good spirits, man. I'm in good spirits right now. And I got my tinfoil hat on. I'm not. I gotta. Yeah. But I got theories. Okay, for Transformers the movie, for sure. Good Lord,
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Well, guys, thanks for Mick. Thanks for sitting here and talking with me about this. And
This was awesome. It's a
and
pleasure as
everyone out there,
always.
thank you for listening to us ramble on about this movie that we love, about mostly Christopher Walken.
Yeah, about Muhammad Shrek. We went 10 rounds of Muhammad Shrek.
That's right. Love it. All right, and we will see you guys next time.
Happy holidays!
Noice.